Guys, brand new Lightning Sorceress with the brand new Chain Lightning pants. Let's get some gameplay with Lucian as well. I mean, this thing, it goes crazy. I think we are looking at a pretty good build potentially with Sorceress for the next season. I mean, look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. There's big numbers coming out over here. We're almost at barbarian levels, almost. You can actually go way higher than it. So how these pants work is they make your Chain Lightning kind of shoot between the enemy, and then they bounce back to you, then they go to the enemy, and they bounce back to you, and then with the Crown of Lucian, you have like a bunch of resource cost reduction, because if not, I mean, this thing would cost a crazy amount of resource. But there's another thing where, like, if you spend 100 resource, you're supposed to get a barrier. Don't think that works with it, unfortunately. But we're just going to go ahead and do it like a pit 100. It's kind of like my little benchmark that I like to do. And we're actually using a brand new aspect that gives us cooldown reduction on lucky hit on our ultimate. Now, unfortunately, it's only for the Sorceress. I wish every class got that, because that'd be actually a really cool thing. But it helps out a little bit, as, you know, this is a Chain Lightning build. So we want to be spamming the Chain Lightning. Now, there may be some bugs with the pants. I've heard that, like, they don't actually work 100% properly. It's a PTR. Expect to see these things. But as far as it goes, I think this is probably one of the top tier Sorceress builds. It probably will be the best Sorceress build, even if they fix, let's say, the Crown of Lucian or the pants in some sort of way. There's a lot of lightning buffs in general for the Sorceress. And I would say it's relatively smooth, really beginner-friendly to play. As far as requiring uber uniques, I would say Ring of the Star of the Skies is actually required for a lot of builds, because the resources are just going to be too high, because Lucian is now the new best helmet. We'll talk a little bit about some of the other changes once we finish the little run. Kind of curious to see how it goes in terms of speed on this run. But one thing I just noticed in general is the Sorceress seems to be a little bit more squishy. Because, well, I mean, you don't have immortality, right? But even then, like, looking at the things that Rogue got, I felt like Rogue got actually just the most significant changes in general. And another thing that I found really interesting is it's very difficult to actually play Talrashas now. The reason why is usually that's in every single Sorceress build. And if you guys watch the recent campfire, they're trying to get people to not have to play certain items in builds. Like, there's like, oh, you just have to play Talrasha Ring, right? And, like, you know how everyone pretty much had to play Harlequin. Like, it is pretty much one of the best helmets in the game, right? But one thing that is nice now is Lucian will be pretty much the new best in slot. So with the Harlequin, well, they did make people swap off of it. Now the new helmet, it has to be in every build. There's no way you can stop potentially 125x for damage. It's just legit nothing stopping it. Like, it's just way too good. Heck, this build is really fun too. But I'm just trying out stuff right now. This isn't necessarily going to be a build guide, although I'll mention some of the newer changes that we'll go over. But yeah, it's a really cool item. The pants actually just do everything too. Like, the pants give you resource, give you damage reduction, give you chance for Chain Lightning to cast twice. And I don't have stuff masterworked at all. Heck, I don't even have everything fully tempered out, and it's because you have to re-get the tempers, and I ended up getting the items on my other character, and I'm ready to go, man. I wanted to get some gameplay and test out the Sorceress, because a lot of people feel like Sorceress has been the worst class, and Druid got some crazy buffs. I mean, across the board, like doubling the stats of a lot of stuff in the Spiritborn. I really think, and let me know guys what you think of this, can Sorceress please get just 1 or 2 more enchants? Because I feel like the enchant slot is one of whatever skill that you're playing, and then it's like always fire enchant. Like 99% of the time, that's what it's been like since the launch. Ooh, a little bit dicey over there. But I think that's how it's pretty much been for the Sorceress. So I think like at least 1 enchant, ideally 2, because then you could do a little bit more creative things. And another thing I think the Sorceress has in terms of a problem is applying vulnerability is quite rough, so we're running a Cursed Touch. Alright, so I don't think they've fixed the pit boss, so we're going to do the smart mechanic over here. So we run in and then run out. And what that does is it fixes the boss. The bosses are currently bugged, so this fixes it just a little bit. All right, ready? Ready for the boss? Ready? I actually probably fix up some of these skills over here, but see some damage on the boss. Oh, we got to watch our resource, though. If our resource goes away, that's bad. What we need to make sure is the chain lightning is actually bouncing between us and the boss. And the reason why is because if it doesn't, then we lose out on our resource and we don't get the chain lightning bounce effect. And we want that bounce effect. That's the good effect. Now, there is one where you can chain lightning to chain one additional time. I'm not sure if we actually need that one, but you can see, I would say this is respectable. And keep in mind, I'm pretty sure the PTR has like the build before we got the nerf on the pit bosses. So I would say that that is relatively respectable. So now that you guys have seen some of the gameplay, because I always like to open up with gameplay first, I want to go ahead and kind of explain some of the newer things and some of the things that may be changed, because the pants definitely could use a massive buff, even though like that was pretty respectable. Well, it's mostly going to be Crown of Lucian. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the test dummy here, and I'll kind of show you guys how the thing works. I mean, you can hit for pretty good amounts of damage. Still, I would say that there's a long way to go in terms of upgrades for our character, for sure. Like we don't have like, let's say the +8 over here that you'd want on Chain Lightning. I just have a generic plus core. We're also using a couple of new items here, so we actually have pretty high crit strike chance in this, and we also have a lot of crit multiplier, and that helps out because sorcerers can actually get quite a bit of mana. So. And also, we have an extra socket here. And I still am running Juggernauts because I need to figure out... we would probably need to get a greater affix on armor somewhere, as well as temper armor on. But it's just going to be something that you have to fit in. But in addition to that, you really have to have a lot of mana per second. So, going over first the newer stuff, now that you guys have seen the gameplay. So, Axial Conduit, these are the new pants. So, it's got damage reduction, which is a really good stat. We got resource generation, which is fairly good because we actually want to generate as much resource as possible. Our current regen, let's see how much mana per second. Mana regeneration is 30 per second. That's actually pretty big. And so the reason why we cannot play Telrash's, by the way, I have a greater affix one, is you need to have recharging. You could throw this on the amulet too, that could be a potential, but I wanted to try out all the new stuff, and this is a really good item, and I think it has some potential because it also increases your maximum resource, which again helps your pool to have more of these chain lightnings going out. So when there's only one enemy, I don't feel like you can like spam it super hard because, well, we're just gonna have 0 mana. Now if there is a group, it was like basically no problem at all. Like I didn't see any problem with resource. Now, one thing that I also wanted to mention that I feel like it would be really nice if it worked with it is every time we spend 100 mana, and how these pants work is Chain Lightning goes between you and the enemy, then it comes back and then goes to the enemy, and then goes back. It keeps on doing it, and then it explodes for some sort of damage. Now, that number obviously can be way higher. We don't have a really good one, but this one had greater affix damage reduction, so I was excited. But we could probably get a much better pair of pants over here, and maybe less survivability, but I felt like the Sorceress was kind of squishy already. But what we could probably do is also, we could remove Arc Lash. It's pretty much just like not even used in here. And we could probably play, I don't know, Ice Blades or something something else. But one thing that I really like also is the brand new aspect called the Orange Herald. So what it does for the aspect is we have up to a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown on lucky hit of our ultimate skill by 2 seconds, but it can only happen once per skill cast. But obviously we are going to be, spamming like crazy. And is it helpful? I mean, you'll see it proc once in a while. It's not like we can 100% keep it up. If you want to 100% keep it up, there could be some other better options. Like you could run Flicker Step as another alternative option, but I wanted to at least try it out. I would say it does technically help because how this thing works, and the reason why this thing is kind of nice, is you can get all these crackling energy, all these other lightning skills to activate. If you want to invest into this, you can get 25% damage reduction. But I don't think it's realistic to have 100% uptime on unstable currents, and pretty much that was one idea that I wanted to at least try out some of the newer stuff here. So showing off that. I think you might be better off with Yen's Blessing, and then you can alternate between having one of the ice armors pretty much up again. Another thing that I really want, like I said, I really want just one more enchantment slot. One thing that can make the Sorcerer super good is if you can run Ice Armor as another enchant. When I was doing speedruns for the rank 1s back in Season 2, a lot of mine were almost always playing with Ice Armor. Ice Armor was so incredibly good for objectives, for just doing things in general. It just makes your character incredibly tanky. And you could sacrifice a lot of defenses and just invest into Ice Armor enchant, and it's really, 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 really good. So I would love to throw that in there, but since it's a Chain Lightning build, I'm guessing we kind of would like to get this to have that bonus after spending 100. But how it works, you'll see that it only costs 9. However, with the crown, it will actually make our resources costs go up, way up. So we could do that as well. So there's a lot of other options that we can play. Like I said, I'd almost want to just swap that just straight up. It might not even be that bad of an idea. But I'm not sure if the Chain Lightning that you don't manually cast, as in the one that comes out for free, does the same alternation. I don't even know if it auto-targets, but you can see it's just going to find the target anyway, so it's a really hard test. What we could do is also just maybe activate another skill. Actually, you know what? We can test this really easy. I just thought about this. We could just do this, and once we spend 100 energy, which, oh, it does proc that. Okay, that was good, because I know with certain builds, if you have like an aspect or something and you get a free thing, it doesn't count the free thing. Rapid Fire with Scoundrels Kiss is one example. So it's kind of just like my first little introduction to the build. But anyways, yeah, the Axial Conduit, we already kind of explained that. Then there's the Crown of Lucian, which gives us pretty much all of our damage. And I want to go ahead and actually go over this, because I want to say that these will probably get buffed in some way, because these are super underperforming. Let me show you what the damage is looking like. So, like, you know, there's like 300, and eventually it'll pop and do a bunch of damage. But yeah, you're easily over 1,000,000 damage. Like that's nothing. Millions. With Barb, it's like billions in damage, and you can even maybe get trillions. But with the Crown of Lucian, notice the difference in damage over here, just with one. Like, look at we're hitting for 1,000,000. What we should ideally hit is like the same target. Let me actually make this easier to see. So if I go to single, this way you're not seeing so many numbers. Oh, there was like 79 mil. Okay. So first we're going to make the thing vulnerable. Oh, okay. The reason why is we have to get it vulnerable with a Curse Touch. So watch the damage on it. So it's 500, 700. We have 4 mil, 8 mil, 14 mil, 24, 54, 100 mil, 200 mil. So like you can get lots, and that's only with one cast. Obviously, you would be spamming multiple, but one thing I've noticed with this, even if this build doesn't get patched at all, let's say they're like, you know what, guys, we're going to make the Sorceress good next season. Even if everything stays the same, and obviously we're in the earlier stages here, we can get way more powerful, but you'll still have probably mana problems, because this is going to make your mana cost go up. We already have Ring of the Starless Skies, and Recharging Circle is an absolute must with this build, but you can also get more of the Chain Lightning's projectiles to cast twice, but that actually may hurt you, and the reason why I'm saying it may hurt you is because you may still run out of mana, because how it works is if you drain the mana and it doesn't get the correct amount, it's not going to do that giant awesome explosion. So you'll have to really balance back between mana. Again, if you run Recharging Circle in the Amulet, that could be an option as well. But you really want to stack a lot of crit with this build in order to get like good damage. So there's a lot of things we can actually test out. In fact, what I do want to test out, heck, we can just test it out now. Let's just test it out right now if I happen to have one. It might be on my other character, though. All right, do we have Banished Lords? All right, we have a legacy one. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. So what I wanted to actually know is, does Banished Lord's Talisman actually work with the bounce effect over here? So we gotta watch. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh, that works with Banished Lords. Wait, that's actually pretty good. Okay. Now, it's going to be hard to try to time this, because now we're at 275. So this means this next one should overpower, and doesn't mean every single hit overpowers, because if it does, I think we just found a really OP thing. Huh. Okay. So it doesn't seem like the Banished Lords works on every single bounce on it. But what I found more interesting is now we're back at 270, or we're at 140. So, like, if I was to spam on multiple training diamonds, dang, now we're into theory crafting over here. Like, how fast can we make that thing go up? Where's my... I can't even see my Banished Lord's Talisman, unfortunately. I think they need to redo the buff bar because, like, there are too many times where I legit can't see. Yeah, I can't see when I'm getting my overpowers, but it should be in that blue. But I think that that's not counting the damage correctly. It looks like this adds so much more damage. The reason why is this is giving like an X multiplier. Pretty much for the next season, guys, every single build has to play Carnate Lucian. Every single build is pretty much playing Lockrens unless you're doing a damage over time build. The reason why is these numbers just scale like crazy. But yeah, I think it could be definitely a viable option. I mean, again, if we look at the single target dummy, we could actually output a lot more damage too. If I was to, let's say, run Inner Calm, swap this out, because this is maybe something we can swap out. We can run something else that can give us some extra damage or something. I like this. I think this does really good damage. You can see 15, 26, 59, 100. I mean, you could easily hit per, like, you know, I'm only activating it once. I think you get 1 billion plus damage, right? I don't think that's out of the question to get like 1 billion damage per, like, you know, lightning. But we'll see what else we can come up with the Sorceress. But that's just like the new Sorceress build I think everyone will be playing next season is some sort of Chain Lightning build. And we'll drop a video guide for it later down the line once I figure out kind of what I want to run. Maybe I want to run offhand. I think that might be smarter to run offhand to get more crit strike chance, as this gives us up to, if we have a perfect roll, it is 50. But, well, we're still kind of lacking a little bit. Maybe we can mix up with a couple more things and we'll figure it out. But anyways, what do you guys think of Sorceress?